Hey everyone, it's Jack with RealDealCrew. Today we're going to be talking about how this AI just beat every other model at handling million-dollar work tasks, and it could completely change how you run your real estate investing business. I'm breaking down Claude Opus 4.6, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how it can save you over 20 hours a week. So why don't we take a look at the announcement? We'll read through this, and I'll try to do a little commentary to kind of give you a heads up on a few things here and how this pertains to you as a real estate professional. So the first thing I can't help but notice that within the first paragraph, there is a pretty sizable announcement. But the new Claude Opus 4.6 improves on its predecessor's coding skills, which is great. If you have an IT department, this is probably going to sing to them. But it plans more carefully, sustains agentic tasks for longer, can operate more reliably in larger code bases, and has better code review and debugging skills to catch its own mistakes. And in a first for our Opus class models, Opus 4.6 features a 1 million token context window. This is a big one. I think it was 250,000 previously. And if you work in some of these and have long conversations, you can run into situations where it has context rot, where the AI forgets earlier parts of your conversations. They're doing a little bit of a catch up because I think Google's Gemini has had a 1 million token context window for a while, but it's good to see it here. So what does this mean for real estate pros? You could upload multiple lease agreements, property reports, financial statements simultaneously. A real-world application would be, imagine uploading 50 property inspection reports and asking it to identify patterns, red flags, and opportunities across your entire portfolio all at once. So let's continue here. Opus 4.6 can also apply its improved abilities to a range of everyday work tasks, running financial analysis, doing research, and using and creating documents, spreadsheets, and presentations within cowork, where Claude can multitask autonomously. Opus 4.6 can put all of these skills to work on your behalf. So cowork is a tool. It's usually associated with Claude Code. It does require you to purchase a subscription. So I would recommend, if you haven't already, you'd probably want to start with the $20 a month subscription. And then if you find it really useful, I've heard people having to move up relatively quickly. But what does this mean? It can spawn multiple AI agents working in parallel. One real user closed 13 GitHub issues and assigned 12 tasks autonomously in a single day. That's a big, especially for an IT department. So if you manage or have an IT department, you might see some pretty significant benefits implementing this. So for real estate investors, how is this benefit? Well, imagine you could handle tenant communications, schedule maintenance, research comps, and draft marketing materials all at the same time. While you're sleeping, this AI could be researching your next market, drafting tenant responses, and analyzing your competition. So this next paragraph is a lot of information around benchmarks, and we'll probably get into some of those. But I also want to call out that in here somewhere I saw, oh, here it is. We've made substantial upgrades to Claude in Excel, and we're releasing Claude in PowerPoint in research preview. This makes Claude more compatible with everyday work. So this is a pretty big value add, especially if you're working in Excel and PowerPoint on a regular basis. So you can imagine in Excel, for example, it can process unstructured data, infers structure automatically, handles multi-steps changes. PowerPoint, it can create branded presentations from your data. In real estate, we can see this as inputting raw property data. Claude structures it in Excel and then generates investor-ready presentations in PowerPoints, matching your brand style. You typically end up having to hire a full-time person to handle some of this, and it would typically take hours. Let's imagine 4 hours, and now this could all take within just 15 minutes. That's pretty crazy. Let's go back up to the benchmarks here. 144 ELO points. That is better than ChatGPT's GPT 5.2 on economically valuable work tasks. We'd have to find it here, but I did notice that it did score 90.2% on Big Law Bench, which is legal reasoning benchmark. So what does that mean? Analyzing complicated lease structures, running multi-property financial scenarios, identifying hidden cost in property documents, due diligence automations. So some of this stuff is getting pretty crazy when it comes to these benchmarks. So right now, BrowseComp is an interesting thing as well, because it's better than any of the other models in finding hard to find information online. Oh, here we go. Here's some of the big comparisons here, so we can see side-by-side comparisons. And of course, Opus 4.6 is out in the lead on most of these now, but that's going to quickly change as we just keep toggling back and forth with whoever releases the next thing, right? I won't be surprised if we see a quick response from ChatGPT soon. This, based on what I'm seeing here, though, this could be a research and marketing analysis beast. It's got the highest score on BrowseComp. It has 86.8 accuracy with multi-agent setup for deep web research. For investors, market research, comparable properties, demographic shifts, zoning changes. It can find the information your competition is missing. And I think that's what we're all looking for, is that competitive edge. I think where you're going to see most of the coding improvements are associated with possibly property management. It's got the highest score on Terminal Bench 2.0, which is the agentic coding tasks. It can build custom tools, automate workflows, and integrate systems. I'm not going to pretend that this is something that anybody can do and launch Claude Code and off you go. So one team automated a multi-million line code base migration like a senior engineer. That's just crazy. I'm seeing time and time again where it's now a single developer, a single skilled prompt engineer that can do the work of 10 other people. The amount of volume alone that can be pushed through these models is getting pretty crazy. You could build custom property management dashboards, automate tenant screening, and create custom reporting tools in minutes, if not hours, instead of hiring a team of developers. I've coded some things now that if you go over to, I got kind of a side passion project, and that would have cost me tens of thousands of dollars and a team of developers, and I did it in a few weekends. It's pretty crazy. I know I keep saying that, but in the end, we're living in a new world, a new paradigm here. But they do address some concerns. Most comprehensive safety testing of any other AI model at this point, lowest over refusal rate. They won't refuse reasonable requests, doesn't deceive, isn't overly agreeable. It provides honest analysis. That's actually really good to hear. I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired, especially ChatGPT, just validating everything I throw at it. And I want more of an honest, direct assessment. In fact, I've even told ChatGPT to stop it. Just give it to me straight. Just give me the information. Well-aligned behavior, doesn't deceive, isn't overly agreeable, provides honest analysis. When analyzing a deal, you want truth, not what you want to hear, of course. You can just see here, time and time again, of course, Opus is scoring high on everything, and now that's even comparing it against itself. Here's the step forward on safety. So pricing is where things are going to get, like I said, here's the math that matters. In the end, it's roughly $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output tokens. Like I said before, 1 million tokens is roughly 750,000 words. You could analyze 100 plus property reports for less than the cost of lunch. Compare it to hiring a VA. That can be US bound, it'd be 15 to 25 bucks an hour. A good analyst is probably $50 to $100 an hour. And if you take the time to train your agent to do some of this work, it's really going to be a significant cost savings. Well, this is an iterative update. We're not seeing like anything earth-shattering. I'm going to go back again to the very first paragraph. The 1 million token context window is a pretty big one. If you're doing any kind of development or leveraging the AI agents, the agentic aspects of this, that you're probably going to see some improvements in that model. So if you have to do any kind of manual switching there, you might need to. I know that some people leverage automation tools like N8N and Make.com and a few of those things, so you might want to consider upgrading those models. There's deep thinking. There appears to be now a toggle in there in which you can turn things down so that it's not as expensive. If you don't want it to do absolute deep thinking on every single thing, sometimes that is what actually uses those compute times and processing. And if you're telling it to do something simple, there's no point in having it go through the deep thinking on every single step. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll be experimenting with some of this. In fact, I saw that one of my vibe coding platforms have already updated to 4.6. We'll see what that does. I'm looking forward to some of the updates in there, because if it's actually going to handle some of the errors, it's been a bit of a challenge regarding complex scenarios. So between the larger context window in that case and the improved coding abilities, I have some high hopes that maybe that'll make my life a little easier over there. With that being said, if you need some help with some of this, you can always hit me up. Go to RealDealCrew.com. I do provide operational support for real estate investors. And I'm not a fit for everybody, but if you would like some help with that and you're doing some deals on a regular basis, maybe we can work together. RealDealCrew.com. Really appreciate your time. As always, we'll see you next time.